Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I should also welcome myself back because it's been a hot second since I've made a video. My name is Alejandro and I have been working on cruise ships since about 2015. So I figured I'd go ahead and before I start making content about the contract, I would go ahead and just give you guys like a quick recap about my life. So in this, I'm going to talk about my vacation after Resilient. I'll talk about my quick little contract on Valiant, and then I'm going to walk you guys through what my current contract on Scarlet Lady is looking like. This video might be a long one in all honesty, because I'm going to walk you through some ups, some downs, where my brain was at. So I encourage you to go ahead and grab like a cup of coffee, or maybe a glass of wine, depending on what time of day or night, or I mean, I don't judge. You drink wine when you want to drink wine. But yeah, grab whatever beverage you would like to drink. I think the last time that I made some content, I was getting right off of Resilient. I finished Resilient and I went back home. And I think something that a lot of people can tell you after working on ships, or I've heard it's similar when people work or study abroad, is that like you get home and you feel like things are going to be different somehow, that like everything's going to be changed. And like it doesn't really ever change. You just get back, and I sometimes revert to like who I used to be back in high school because I'm just like back home and I haven't lived there since. And it's always like this strange feeling because that I also want to hang out with everyone because I haven't seen them for so long. But I forget that like while I'm on vacation, everyone else has to go to work. And so I'll call my friends and I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, I'm at work. And I was like, oh, right, that's a thing. So that's kind of really hard because I get home and I have all this free time, but no one else does. But I found myself into a little bit of a routine. I think most of you know, but when I'm not on ships, I go and I stay with some family in South Florida. So it's always really nice to just spend some time with them. And there's a gym that I love to go to. I remember, I think like the second day I was home, I went straight to the gym and they welcomed me with open arms. And honestly, I think like that's the main thing that I need when I'm back on vacation, is just falling back into that routine. And then I was waiting for a contract with Virgin, and I feel like many performers, especially on ships, but also like all the time, can comprehend this feeling where like you're trying to plan your next steps in life and like your vacations, and people want to like start planning things and you're just like, I'm still waiting to figure out if I'm gonna book anything. I feel like now, after almost being with Virgin for about 2 years, I am aware that they like me and they will give me work, but I will still always second guess myself. I'm like, am I talented enough? Did I do a good job last contract? Are they gonna bring me back? All of the thoughts go through my head. And so this is like mid, I wanna say October, and my friends are trying to make plans for New Year's. And I'm like, I'm really not sure if I'm still gonna be here, but I think I will. And I knew that the Scarlet for Cast 8 would start rehearsals in January, and then Resilient would start rehearsals, I wanna say like right after in February, because they made me aware that that's like when the next contracts would be rolling out. So I emailed our casting director from Virgin and they didn't get back to me. And that's when I started panicking of like, are they not gonna ask me back? Was I not good enough? What's going on? And then about like a month later, I get an email from a new casting director, and he was just introducing himself to me and asking what my availability looked like for, you know, upcoming contracts. So I was really excited. I was like, okay, they do like me. They're reaching out to me. I don't have to worry so much anymore. And I essentially let them know that I was obviously very interested in coming back and that I was pretty available, but I did need to know a few dates just so I knew how to plan out my vacations. And then I want to say maybe like 3 days after that, I got another email that says, could you make it to the ship as soon as possible? And so I'm like, ay Dios Santa Maria, what does this mean? And I was like, not panicking, but it is obviously like getting emotionally and physically ready to go to the ship. It takes a lot. Like you have to pack everything. You have to make sure like your brain is ready to go and like leave home for X amount of time. And they offered me a contract. I think I would have been there for about 5 months. And it ended up being the Valiant Lady. And I was debating whether I should go or not, but like in my gut, I knew I would accept it. It was one of those things where I was like, give me a few days to figure out if I can take it or not. But I knew, like, my soul was just so happy at the idea of being back on the ship. Because at that point, I think I was on vacation for maybe like 2.5 months. And the idea of being on vacation for another 2 months was getting to me. I was like, I just want to be back on the ship doing what I love to do. And alas, I talked it over with my family and my friends, and if you saw me on Valiant over the holidays, you will know that ultimately I decided to take the contract. It was very different from what normally would happen. I've spoken about it in a few of my other videos, but usually when you are casted for entertainment for multiple cruise lines, you'll usually go to rehearsal studios where you'll train and then you'll move to the ship, with the cast. Because I was a returning cast member and they needed me to get to the ship as soon as possible, I literally went straight to the ship. They were very flexible with me, I will say, in allowing me to decide when I could go. I knew that they needed me ASAP, but it was right around Thanksgiving, and I was gonna spend Christmas and New Year's on the ship, and so spending Thanksgiving with my family meant a lot to me. And so I was like, hi, I would really love if you just gave me like 1 extra week before I head out. And I did let them know, I was like, if you needed me right now and you wouldn't give me the contract, if I didn't leave right now, I will go right now. But thankfully, they were like, no, take the week, enjoy Thanksgiving. So I did. I got to spend Thanksgiving with my family, which was really nice because like we all got together and it was like my moment to say like, hey everyone, I will be gone for the next 5 months. So I was very grateful that they were flexible with that. And then I essentially went straight to the ship and I was messaging my manager from the ship as well as the show captain within the cast. And I said, hi, I'm so excited to be there. Letting you know right now, I have my boiler suit and I have my sparkly hat and I need you to put me to work the day of. Normally when you get to the ship, you would like shadow a little bit and have some rehearsals, but I was like, I'm desperate to get to work. And I felt as if like they had me just like watch things for the first few days, I would go stir crazy. So I was like, I know what I'm doing. Please just let me work. And they were like, 100% you can get here and start working, which I was so grateful for. And it actually ended up working out tremendously because they were installing the new Diva show on Valiant. So we had a few install directors there. So I was able to work not only with our show captain to put me in all the events, but also I had an install director to help me with a lot of like the choreography bits. Because although I had done, this job for 2 full contracts already, a lot of times like choreography will change or like Let's Set Sail was different, Float On was different. And so I was really grateful that I got to work with numerous people who set me up for success. I was just really happy to get on the ship because I actually clicked really well with the cast. They just completely welcomed me with open arms, which just made me feel like really loved and cared for. And so I was really, really happy. And it was just exciting to be on a brand new ship. To me, I mean, Valiant has been around, but it was a brand new ship to me. I haven't been on that ship before, so I was really excited. And I felt like I really melded with the cast, and I was like, you know what, this is great. And they had originally offered me that contract to be there right after Thanksgiving all the way to March 23rd, so it's coming up now. And I was really happy, and I was there for about a week, and then they sent me another email. And I remember I read this email, and I was at Bimini, and I just screamed. And it said, I hope you're doing well on Valiant. We would really like to offer you a position on Scarlet's upcoming cast. And I was like, what? So I remember earlier in the video I said that I was waiting for that Scarlet January contract. I assumed that they weren't going to send me there or to Resilient because they sent me to Valiant. And I was very happy to, start working sooner. But then I got this email and I was really unsure what to do simply because I loved my Valiant cast. Like I had only been there for about a week, but the vibes were just there and they were beautiful. And so much of your ship contract really is like the people you're surrounding yourself with. And if the energy is good, then like work will be good and your life will be good. And so I was like, I have a really good thing here. Do I let go of this? And I also was really sad to like leave them on like a personal note. Like I feel like I accepted the contract and I said like, hi y'all, I am, here for the end of the contract. And so to be like, bye everyone, felt selfish in a way. Thankfully, I was able to talk to the install directors that were still on board, and they wanted to send me to Scarlet so that I could become show captain and kind of lead this incoming cast. If you've been on Scarlet lately, I mean, spoiler alert, I took the contract, but a lot of this cast are brand new, and so they wanted me to kind of come in here, become show captain, and kind of lead them through. And so I told them I needed like a week to think about it. And I remember I called my sister, and strangely enough, that Valiant contract, I knew like in my soul, I was like, I will take it. But then with this contract, my gut feeling was like, I should say no to this because I have something really good. And I called my sister and she's like, what are you doing? I don't know why I did that voice. That's not what she sounds like. But she was like, this is a really unique opportunity for you to grow within, the company. I think you should take it. And that was the first time I was like, I really got to think about taking this contract. And I talked to a few people. I talked to my managers. I talked to my mom. I talked to my friends. And ultimately, again, I told you guys, but I ended up taking the contract, and I was grateful because they would extend me on Valiant up until I would have to start rehearsals for Scarlet. And so they shortened my contract, so I got off of the ship maybe like January 7th, because I was supposed to start, or I did start rehearsals for Scarlet January 9th. And it was actually beautiful spending the holidays on Valiant. I was really grateful for the cast for understanding that I was stepping out to obviously pursue this new thing. They were all very, very supportive. I remember like sobbing when I told them, and then sobbing when I had to say bye to them. But honestly, the holidays on ships, 10 out of 10. I highly recommend it, both from like a crew perspective and a sailor perspective. The only other time I had been away from the holidays was when I was working with Disney, and I really didn't love that. I was not in the best headspace, but I was also like, I don't know, I don't love this, and so I was anxious going in to celebrate the holidays on ships. But it actually ended up being beautiful. We had our Christmas show on board, so I also think that really helped for like the cast. Like we just felt very connected. We did a whole Secret Santa moment. It was really, really cute. Again, highly recommend it. Do it. If you're anxious about it, don't. I mean, obviously it's hard because you're not surrounded by family, but you're surrounded by like a different type of family, if you will. And so, alas, my contract was coming to a close. I was really lucky because Valiant at the time was docked out of Miami, and January 7th was when it was going to reposition to Puerto Rico. So thankfully, I didn't have to take a flight home. I literally just had to like throw everything in my suitcase, and then my mom just came to the terminal to pick me up. And then I had, I think what it was like 36 hours at home. It was wild. I essentially got off the ship, went home, unpacked everything, took a shower, went to the gym because I had to. And then I packed everything back up. And then we have rehearsals in Orlando. And it was actually really cool because I would now be starting my 4th contract, but this would be only the 2nd time I'm going to rehearsals in Orlando. For Resilient, they flew us straight to the ship, and then for my Valiant contract, again, I went straight to the ship. So I was kind of really excited to go back to the rehearsal studios and just to go through that process again, and to see, because, you know, the program is constantly evolving, and so, you know, I literally just came from a ship, but I was aware that things would have been changing already, so I was very excited to go. But I was also so anxious because I was like, what is this cast gonna look like? And I knew that a lot of the incoming cast was gonna be brand new. And I was just excited for the new energy and to get to meet them. And so alas, we met up in Orlando, and rehearsals were actually quite smooth. They were much smoother than I remember them 2 years ago, just like a testament to how well Virgin is doing in terms of listening to what the cast needs, and how the company is just continuing to grow. And we do have new install directors now, and it was just beautiful. It was just like such a smooth process. There is so much to learn. And I will say, I think part of the reason it was a lot smoother for me was because I have been with the company for so long. For incoming performers, I know there's just a lot to wrap your head around. We were there for about like 9 days, but it was just like a beautiful moment. We often like talk about it on the ship of like, do you remember this time in Orlando? Because it's just like sentimental, it's beautiful. It was also really nice because I was able to leave like my main suitcases at home with my mom, and I was just like, Mom, can you please just meet me when because they will bus us from Orlando down to Miami to get on the ship. And I was like, Mom, I'll just meet you in Miami with my suitcases because I don't want to take all of this stuff to Orlando. So alas, I got on the ship, and then we shadow the cast 7 for about 2 weeks, where we just kind of like watch them and see what they're doing, see what works, because a lot of times we'll rehearse something in the studios, but what ends up happening on the ship operationally might just be like slightly different. So maybe like we say a line differently, or we stand in a different position. So we watch the cast for about 2 weeks, which is also such a strange experience because, again, like I've been doing this for so long, my instinct is just to want to like jump in and do it. So I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a hard time where I'd have to stand there and watch someone else do the thing that I want to do. But it was also beautiful because, you know, every cast member has different strengths. So to watch someone else do something that you're about to do, I feel like you learn a lot through that process. And then, alas, it was time to be installed, and we've launched since. The contract so far has been really, really beautiful. It has been challenging. This itinerary within the 5 and the 4 days are just rough, simply because it is just like constantly rotating between like 554, 554, 554, 554. Physically, it is quite taxing because we dance until midnight almost every night, and then, you know, Scarlet Night is a whole production, and then we dance in Bimini. So the 5 and the 4s are taxing, but I also find that there is this magical, special energy that exists with this itinerary simply because I feel like the people who come to this itinerary are willing and ready to play. I found that sometimes in Europe, they're there to like enjoy the ports and they're ready to relax, but here like they're ready to go. And so it's really, really cool to play with that energy as a performer because you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. It just feels like the energy is like very electric, I think is the best way to describe it. But yeah, the contract so far has had ups and downs, but overall I'm very, very happy with my decision to come here. I message my mom and my sister almost every other day being like, I'm very happy here. This was challenging today, or, you know, I had to make this difficult decision as captain earlier, but I'm essentially happy with what I did and life is good. But no, I'm really happy to be here. I think it's also been lovely being here for almost 2 years. I think my anniversary is next month. That's when I first joined Scarlet, I think. I don't know. Don't quote me on any of that. But it's been lovely because I know so many people not only that just work here, because then I just feel like it's just like seeing all my friends when I got on the ship, but it's also been lovely because I've gotten to see a lot of like repeat sailors who have sailed with me multiple times, and that just makes my heart really happy because at the end of the day, like as much as I love the performing aspect of my job, dare I say, and this might sound cheesy, I think my favorite part is really like the connections I'm able to build. Wow, that does sound really cheesy, but it's true. But that being said, if there's specific things that you want to see or specific things that you want me to talk about, feel free to put it in the comments below, or you can message me on Instagram, which, oh my goodness, I didn't address it earlier. I am now the Spark. So you'll notice that my handles have changed. I'm no longer the Hype right now. This contract, I am the Spark. People have asked me my thoughts about it. And at first, I wasn't sure. I was like, I don't know. Am I the Spark? But having been the Spark for almost 2 months, I will actually say, after being the Hype, then the Bounce, then the Spark, I actually feel like the Spark might be like the one that makes me feel like the most me. So far, I'm a big fan of the Spark. Let me know though, do you feel like I'm the Spark? Do you feel like I'm more of the Hype? What's the thought process, babes? But anyways, message me on Instagram. It's now Alejandro the Spark. Let me know what you guys want to see content-wise, and thank you for watching this just to have a quick little catch-up. I'll be doing some more like tips and tricks for Virgin stuff, as well as doing more like life updates, hopefully coming up. But again, thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because I honestly have no idea how the algorithm works, but I feel like that's the best thing to do. Because fingers crossed, by the end of this contract, I will be verified is the goal, but we will see what happens. But you all are amazing. Thank you again for watching, and I really hope you come to Scarlet soon so I get to see your faces. But alas, thanks again, and adios!